Hello everybody and welcome. Today I'd like to take you through a demo of the MAGLITE ML300L 4D LED long-running flashlight and tell you why I think it's the very best emergency preparedness flashlight on the market today. Back in 1999, when I started teaching disaster preparedness, I needed both a personal flashlight for my own use as well as one that I could recommend. So after talking to various first responders, I ended up buying the MAGLITE 3D incandescent. They didn't have the LED lights back then, so I got this incandescent light, and this has been carried for over 20 years in every car, truck, and SUV that I've owned. It's been dropped, it's rolled off the hood, it's rolled off the top of the car, fallen in the water, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but apparently at some point I decided to use it as a hammer, but it has just kept on going. It still works, and I still carry this light in my emergency car kit today. And I've recommended MAGLITEs in every single training session that I've done since then, and I've never had a complaint about one. The MAGLITE ML300L 4D LED long-running flashlight, the subject of today's discussion, is one of the very best lights that I have seen. As a matter of fact, it is the best disaster preparedness light that I have ever seen. Call it disaster preparedness, emergency preparedness, prepper flashlight. And what you see before you here are just a few of the over 200 flashlights, premium flashlights I might add, that I have tested to come to this conclusion. This light is very, very durable. It's drop resistant, and like I said, this light here, the old version that I had, the incandescent version, I carried it for over 20 years. Popular Mechanics says this may be the very last flashlight you ever have to buy, and I tend to agree with that. They are extremely rugged flashlights. They're reliable. As long as you keep fresh batteries in them, when you hit the button, the light comes on. And to that point, I would recommend, if you're going to make an investment such as this in a really nice flashlight, either if you're leaving it in the house, don't leave the batteries in it. Just set the batteries aside and don't put them in the light. That way you never have to worry about the light being accidentally turned on, running down, and then having the batteries corrode in the light. Or if you don't use it for a long time, alkaline batteries will eventually start leaking. They'll run down and leak. So leave the batteries out unless you need to use the light. Then if you do need to use the light, check it periodically. I pull this out of the car about once a quarter, make sure the batteries are not leaking. I take the tail cap off, dump the batteries out, and check it. And of course make sure the light is still coming on and working as expected. They're water resistant. This came in extremely handy during Winter Storm Uri when I was outside working on a generator, getting pelted with rain and ice, and the storm was absolutely blowing sideways, and it was really nice to have a good, reliable, water-resistant light that I could count on. And they're economical to run. To these lights that you see here, and it's the big trend nowadays, everybody wants to use the little CR123 batteries. And they're great batteries, don't get me wrong. They have a lot of energy for their size, but this battery cost about the same as this D-cell battery that the MAGLITE runs on, the ML300L. So this battery cost about the same as this battery, but this battery has about 3 times the duration, 3 times the power as this little battery here, the CR123. So they are a lot more economical. Plus you can find these batteries when you cannot find these batteries. And if you actually go into a drugstore or something to buy these, instead of being equal price, they cost about 3 times as much as this battery. So that makes this battery about 9 times more cost efficient under most situations. This light has 1,000 lumen output and cast a beam over 500 yards. It's very useful for inspecting for damage after a hurricane or for watching for rising water. And that came in handy during with not this light, but actually the other one that I had. I wish I'd have had this one during Hurricane Harvey, or the remnants of Hurricane Harvey in Houston, when we were watching the water come up in the lake behind our house. But this is a great light for that. If you need something that will really cast a beam a long way, this is the light to have. It also features a strobe mode, which is also 1000 lumens, and this is great for signaling for help, and it can be seen for miles. It is absolutely fantastic for that. I remember looking through some of the pictures, and I included one in the course that I teach, about people signaling for help during Hurricane Katrina. People were stuck on rooftops and on top of their cars, and there were helicopters coming out and the water's coming up and the light is going down, it's getting dark. You know, a light like this could literally be a lifesaver in a situation like that. It's also got a low power mode, and low power for this light is probably brighter than high power for most other conventional lights. It's great for doing close-up work, so it has high, strobe, low, and then an eco mode. And in eco mode is a great night light. I recommend that you get this diffuser to go on the light as well. And when you flip it into eco mode, it will give you enough light to see in the house, to get around, to keep from tripping over something, from getting hurt. It will run on 2 weeks continuous on one set of batteries in eco mode. So if you only run the light 4 hours a day, you could potentially get weeks or months out of those batteries. Now, the other really cool thing about the light is that it has a spot or a flood mode. So if you're working on something up close, you can put it to flood mode and see what you're working on without having that little pinpoint bright light. And if you're working, or if you want to see off in a distance, set it to spot mode and you can shine the light. Like I said, it casts a beam over 500 yards. Now you can change the mode of operation on this light. It's actually programmable, and it's a really interesting and easy thing to do. All you have to do is hold down, unscrew the cap, hold down the power button, wait 2 seconds, screw the cap back on, and the light will then flash 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, or 4 times. And when it does that, that takes it into one of those 4 modes. The first mode, the general mode, gives you full power with 1 click of the button, low power on 2 clicks, and eco mode on 3 clicks of the button. You can go to outdoor mode where you have full power, low power, and strobe. Law enforcement mode is momentary, full power, and eco mode. And then in the tactical mode, you can go to momentary, full power, and strobe. If you like this video, there will be many, many more coming up soon, so be sure to like and subscribe, hit the buttons below, and also don't forget, if you use the discount code of MOORE15, that's M-O-O-R-E 15, you will get 15% off your entire order on the maglite.com website. That's M-A-G-L-I-T-E. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.